welder. So our MIG welder that we have here in the shop is the Lincoln Electric Power MIG 210 MP, which means a multi-process welder. You can do MIG, ARC, and TIG. So right now we have it set up for the MIG. So the way we're going to work this is just like your arc welder. You're going to need to fasten your ground clamp to your workstation. We have that connected. We get our gun over close to our workstation. We want to make sure we look at our tip, and if it has any slag and stuff on here, any spatter, we want to scrape that out. We don't want that to hinder the gas that's going to run through here and protect our weld. So we want to make sure our tip is clear. After we have those things set up, we're going to turn on our gas. What we have is a 75% argon, 25% CO2. We're going to turn that on all the way. And you probably can't see it from there, but my tank pressure needle jumped up. I'm sitting right now at around 1500 psi in there. So now I'm going to turn the regulator in to get a working pressure of about 15 psi. That's all I needed. So I have my gas set up. I'm ready to turn my welder on. So it's this switch right here on the front. I'm going to turn it on, and then it's going to run through a little process. So now I'm ready to either pick. If I go to the home button, I can pick if I want MIG, ARC, TIG, any of those three. Right? I have it set up now for the MIG. So these two ranges right here will determine how your welder is going to work. So we have a line speed, and that's how fast your wire is going to come out, and then we have the volts at which we're running. So if we turn the volts up, we can go a lot hotter or a lot cooler. If we turn our line speed up, it's going to go really slow. So right now I'm on a really low line speed, and you can see how fast it comes out. Or if I crank that up, it's really going to come out fast. So we have to set it up for the type of metal and the type of welding that we're doing. The way to set this up is to figure out what metal you're using, and then there's a flap here on the side. So here's my flap. Here's the button down here. I'm going to open it up, and here's my wire feeding through my rollers, and here's the table with all of my metal sizes, all the sizes up here, and then the line speed and the voltage at which I should run it. So if I'm going to be using some 3/16 steel and I'm going to be on MIG, I'm going to want to look down here at the 3/16, and I could run it around 330 on my speed for my wire, and a 19 for my voltage. So on the front here, I'm set up to weld 20 gauge steel. So I'd want to go back in the home and I'd switch that, because this green range gives you a range at which to run this. So I'm going to push home on this, and I'm going to choose what I want to be welding. I'm going to go MIG steel C25, and I'm going to press select. It says what type of gas you're running. That's what I'm running. It's 75% argon, 25% CO2. I'm going to hit the button. My diameter is a 30 thousandths wire. I know it's tough to see when it's highlighted, but I'm going to use the 30 thousandths wire because that's the wire size I have in my spool. And now my gauge, how thick am I going to run this? And I'm going to turn this up till I see 3/16. Select that, and now my range, it says running the 330 inches per minute and the 19. So the range gives me anywhere in this green they recommend running. If I'm in the red, that's too fast, too much line speed. If I'm over here in the red, not enough line speed. And this is the recommended voltage. If I need to turn that down a little bit, if I'm doing a vertical up, I might want to turn it on the low side, but I probably wouldn't want to go on the high side. So now I'm set up for how I'm going to run the MIG with 3/16, excuse me, 3/16 steel with a 30 thousandths diameter wire. So when I'm all set up on my machine and I'm ready to go weld my MIG gun, I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to snip that wire so it's not that big. I don't want that wire being too long. I want it to be nice and short because the gas is running through here and it's pushing out here and it's creating an environment for that weld to be protected and not to have that oxygen hurt our weld. Just like your flux on your arc welding, the gas creates its own atmosphere to protect that weld. Okay, so we're all set up to do some welding. With your arc welding, you're always going to drag that electrode unless you're doing vertical up, and then you have a slight travel angle up. With your MIG, you can either drag it or you can push it. Either one's fine. I would recommend playing around with both of them. Get comfortable with both types. Either drag it or push it. And our angles are very much the same. We don't want to come in here with a really sharp angle. We want to have a good work angle and a good travel angle, and then you can either drag it or you can start over here and you can push that puddle. And you're going to want to do your circular motion for the MIG.